Hi guys, White Warlock here. This is gonna be another video in the spoiler series where I talk about the most recent spoilers. Again, in this video, I'm doing just like the other three, a full review of every single card revealed right now. And in this video, I'm talking about the Ruby cards. So the first card we see here is a Taftaya a Mutant Fudge card, which is a 2/2 for 2 that quests for 2. Like the Purple Magnificent card, there are just better cards that do that. Maybe not in Ruby, but right now this is not really a card you really need in your deck most of the time. But it could be like an aggro filler if you play a Ruby aggro deck. Then, when you have a 3 cost 1/4 for 1 Wrecked Ralph that says whenever you're ready, this character gain 1 lore for each 1 damage on him. So you can kind of make a combo version with it with like LeFou and Shield to untap it a few times if it has multiple damage. So that could be quite interesting. However, it's quite hard to get damage on him, except for maybe like Steve of Ambitions or something. So it requires a lot of mm, it requires a lot of setup costs. So I don't think it's good enough to play. However, it might find itself in a weird combo deck, for example. So maybe, but maybe a good card, but probably not. Then you have a Turbo, which is an inkable 2/3 for 1 that has Rush, and it says this character also counts as being named King Candy for Shift. This card's only good if that matters, because the rest is really bad. So, like, I would only play this if King Candy is so insane that you need more shift targets, and currently I don't think that's the case. So, not a good card. Then we have a Donald Duck, which is a 5 cost 3/6 that quests for 1 and it has shift 4. So you only play it 1 turn earlier, so sometimes you might not want to shift it. However, it says whenever you play this character, if you use shift to play him, each opponent loses 2 lore. That is interesting, but probably not a good enough effect to justify having to shift it every time. However, if the card is good enough as a play, you can just play it on turn 5 anyways. What it says is like its other ability is while an opponent has 10 or more lore, this character gains +6 attack, so it's a 9/6. 9/6 for 5 is really good. So maybe it's a good like 2 off or maximum 3 off in a deck that can run normal Donald Ducks. But currently there aren't really that good Donald Ducks you want to play. Maybe they will print a good 3-drop Donald Duck or a 1-drop Donald Duck that you might want to play. Um, so you can play that in decks like red purple or like heavy control decks. Otherwise, I don't think you want to play this, but maybe you do. Maybe it can find some place in your deck at least, maybe 1 or 2. Uh, yeah. Then we have Rancis Flugger Butter, which is just another vanilla for 4/4 and a quest for 1. I don't need to say more about these cards. These cards are not playable in Constructed. Then we have a international card. We have Scar. Scar is a traitor, and he says whenever you play this character, you may banish chosen character named Mufasa. So this card is only really good if Mufasa becomes an insane deck, or like everyone plays Mufasa or multiple Mufasas in the deck. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't play it. It is inkable, so that's nice, but a 6/3 that quests for 2 is not good enough, in my opinion. So yeah, not for me. Then we have a 2/4 for 3 that has Rush and has 1 lore. So this is kind of like Turbo, but also bad. Just no. Yeah, just no. No, we don't want an Inkables like this. It's just no. All right, we have a Mickey Mouse for 4. It's a 2/4 that quests for 2, and it says while you have a character in play named Minnie Mouse, this character gains +2 attack. Um, don't think it's good enough, but it might be like in an aggressive deck that plays Minnie Mouse Server, so it gets that +2 attack and always, basically, unless your Minnie Mouse dies and quests for 2. But yeah, I don't think it's good enough. We're going through these quickly because they're very simple cards. Like they don't really need big explanations. But I'll talk about Taftaya Muttenfudge now. It's a 1/2 for 1 that quests for 1. Like we've seen a lot of 1-drops this set being 1/2s for 1 and that quest for 1. And its ability says when you play this character, if you have a location to play, each opponent loses 1 lore. The problem with 1-drops is that you want them to play on turn 1, and on turn 1 you don't have any locations in play, so bad card. Because you don't really like the effect is not good enough for you to play this on a later turn because it's a 1/2 that quest for 1. Like the character is useless, so it would only be useful as a 1-drop, and it doesn't have it doesn't really have that ability that you really want later on. Or that you want as a 1-drop with that has 1/2 stats. All right. Next is another vanilla. It's a 5 uninkable 7/5 to cast for 2. It's vanillas. We don't play vanillas anymore in Lorcana, and especially not uninkable vanillas. We have another German card. This is Pete, Steamboat Arrival. It is a 6/6 for 7 that quests for 2, and its ability is when you play this character, if you have another character named Pete in play, you may choose and banish an opposing character. So there are a lot of good. There is one very good Pete card in Steel right now, in this set as well, and you might want to play them together. Otherwise, this card is horrible if Pete is not like a good enough card, right? So, um, yeah, we would need to wait until we know how good Pete is, but otherwise, it's a bad card. Even though it's an inkable 7 cost 6/6 protect quest for 2, it's you don't really want that. You don't really want that. All right, let's go to the next one, which is another Mutton Punch. This one is a shift, and it's a 3/3 for 1, and it says whenever, sorry, 1 per turn, whenever this character moves to location, gain 2 lore. This character would be insanely broken if it didn't say once per turn, because there's also a location in the set that costs 0 for them to move to. Although, yeah, so that would be an instant win combo if you have 2 of those. However, yeah, this this effect is not good enough in my opinion. Locations in this set are horrible, and in other sets, like you don't play that many that you can really use this card often. So I would not play this. Maybe in the red yellow locations deck you might be able to play it, but no, I would not play it. Then we have another big guy that gets discounted. In red, it's Gaston, which is a 10/6, Jesus, and it quests for 2, and it is a 9 uninkable. And it says for each damaged character you have in play, you pay 2 uninkable, 2 ink less to play this character, and it has rush. That rush is pretty relevant. And damage characters for yourself instead of like for the Robin Hood for your opponent is much easier to do. It's still unlikely, but it's much easier to do. Um, so, and it's 2 less, so not 1 less. So you could see a use of Gaston, but I would personally not play it. But it really depends. This deck completely depends on the meta and on kind of like what the hell is going on with your deck. If you can play Gaston in your deck, then maybe it might be good. Alright, we have a 7 cost Ratigan, which is a 5/5 that quests for 3. It has evasive, that's very good with these stats, and it shifts for 4. So if you have a good Ratigan, then maybe you can shift it on this one. And its ability says your damage characters get blue +2 attack. That is not relevant, but like it's a nice bonus on a card that is pretty good on its own, except that it's 7 cost uninkable. So you basically only play this if you have good shift targets in Ratigan. Right now we don't really have that. We have the Ratigan for 5 that can do some fun stuff, but right now I don't know. I don't think so, but if there are more Renegades printed in this set or next few sets, then it might turn out to be a good card. Alright, we have another Vanellope. This is a 3/3 that quests for 2, and it's a 4 uninkable, unfortunately. It is Rush, and it says when you play this character, she gains evasive until the start of your next turn. Just play Peter Pan Shadow. Honestly, just play Peter Pan Shadow. That extra attack is not worth the very big downside of not having evasive forever and not giving evasive to all your rush characters. So yeah, I would play Peter Pan Shadow over this in a heartbeat. Then we have Minnie Mouse, which is a 3 cost 2/4 that costs 1, and this one relies on Mickey Mouses. So it says whenever this character or one of your characters named Mickey Mouse challenges another character to gain 1 lore. This could be relevant if you play a lot of Mickey Mouses. However, currently I would say in red or like in actually any deck, there's isn't that many Minnie Mouses played. Mickey Mouses. I would say like the 1/3 a detective that Rams is the most played Mickey Mouse, and that's definitely not for this card, right? So yeah, I don't think it's a good card. It's fun in I would say it's probably fun and limited, but that's about it. Then we have an action. It's called Break Free. Says deal 1 damage to chosen character of yours. They can rush and +1 attack. That's kind of fun, but as you'll see, we have well, currently we have Vitality Sphere, which is better than this, and we have an item that gives +1 attack as well. That is also better than this, and that extra rush, I don't think it does. I think doesn't matter that much, especially because you need like the character to have played that turn as well. So you need to have played the character and then the action, and most of the time you don't really want to do that, even though it only costs 1. We have a French card. Let's see, it is another action that costs 2, and it says choose and ready one of your characters. They can't quest for the rest of their turn. If a character was chosen this way, you gain 1 lore. Well, that sucks. That doesn't really do that much. I guess it's a more an interactive lore, but yeah, if you untap if you're ready your um, if you're ready a villain like the Queen, for example, that might be relevant. But yeah, I don't think an action like this is good enough, unfortunately, even though it is inkable. But it might be interesting for limited, but even then, probably not. Then we have a 7 cost song, Don't Let the Frostbite Bite. It says ready all of your characters, they can't quest for the rest of the turn. That, oh, 7, Jesus. We're spending 7 to do that? No, definitely not. No, no, no. Okay, yeah, we're not doing that. No, no, I think it's bad. I think it's really bad. All right, then we have Glimmer versus Glimmer, which is another uninkable action. It's for 4, and it says banish chosen character of yours to banish chosen character. This is just Dragonfire, but it's 1 less and costs you a character. That is not worth it. That 1 ink is not worth it. They're both uninkable. Maybe if it was inkable, it could have been playable, but I don't think it's worth it at all. Unless there's a meta where you need to kill something on turn 4 on the play and or on the draw, or you lose the game, it might be good, but no, no, I would not play this over Dragonfire, and I would not play Dragonfire. So unfortunately, another bad card in red. Red doesn't have that many good cards at the moment. All right, we have another action. Who is with me? It's a super rare action for 3. It says your character gain +2 attack this turn, and whenever one of your characters with reckless chance another character this turn gain 2 lore. That you could that's only relevant for Maui in this set, in the construction basically, and your character's gain +2 attack this turn is not worth 3 ink, especially not as a song. So yikes. Yeah, again another bad card in red, unfortunately. Right, we have an item, a 1 cost item, an Italian card. It says pay 1 ink and banish the item to give a character +3 strength this turn. And if chosen character is a villain, they gain +4 strength instead. So right now we have Vitalosphere, which does this, but instead of the +3, it gives +2 and rush. I think that is way more relevant than a +3 or a possible +4 on a villain, especially in a cost uh, one cost item. So I think I would rather play 4 Vitalosphere or multiple Vitalospheres over this card, and playing 4 Vitalospheres and 1 or 2 of these cards probably not worth it in any deck at the moment. So that's unfortunate. The extra like not giving rush is quite, yeah, it's like giving rush is quite a bit better, I would say. So another uninkable. This time it's another item, and it says it's the sword released, and it says at the start of your turn, if you have a character in play with more attack than each opponent character in play, each opponent loses one lore, and you gain lore equal to the lore loss. So it's really good in multiplayer, obviously. But I would still say it's pretty good in constructed as well. It's like a Flynn, but it drains a lore instead of gaining two, which for some decks is basically the same. Um, Obviously, it reduces your speed of winning, but reducing your opponent, like making sure that your opponent is less close to winning is probably more important in decks that play like this card. I would definitely play it in a queen list, maybe as a one-off, but it might still. Jesus, sorry. I'm getting completely annihilated by a fly here. All right, sorry. Anyways, I think it's good in item deck, and that's about it. I like playing this for 3 requires your 2-drop to have a lot of strength, or so maybe like a snake. Um, if you play red purple, or maybe like Gaston, for example, like the 4/2 reckless, maybe that's relevant. But otherwise, yeah, I would play it in the queen deck though to play it for free. But maybe as hardcasters, as a hardcaster, it's a bit worse. So we have another Chromicon, which is a ruby this time, so it's 1 cost, and it's inkable, that's good, and you can exert it to give a character +1 attack. Yeah, this is just good. I would say, especially if you played in like red blue with Hiram or something, you can give your Maui +1 attack to have it gain 7 attack and kill a castle immediately. So I would say it's amazing. Yeah, I would say it's really good in any item deck uh, or any Hiram deck. So yeah, I would definitely play it as a 1 or 2 off in Queen as well, or try it at least. But yeah, I think this card can be really good. All right, and then we have another location. The cost is 1. It is uninkable, I'm pretty sure. But you can move there for free, and it has 5 defense. It unfortunately doesn't give any lore. But it says once per turn you may exert chosen character here and deal them 1 damage to move them to another location for free. So you basically it has to be a readied character. That's relevant. Um, because use the exert symbol and not the word exert. That's very relevant. But yeah, so they have to be ready, but otherwise you can move them to a location where it's harder to move to, and this one is free, right? But it deals 1 damage and it exerts them. Is that worth it? Probably not. Could it be worth it later in later sets? Yes. Could it be worth it if an insanely broken location is printed in this set? Also yes. So this one is really dependent. Also, like if there may be a combo where moving to locations gives you infinite something. Right now with Chubby, that it's a green card that says you gain strength whenever this moves to a location, and it doesn't have a that one doesn't have a 1 per turn. So if you have 2 sugar speedways, you can move to both and gain infinite attack. But currently there's nothing that to really abuse that. So, but maybe there will be later, and then it might be relevant. So yeah, that's all the Ruby cards, pretty sure. Yeah, those are all the Ruby cards. I will make, just like the other ones, I will make videos on the um, other 2 colors and upload them relatively soon after this one. Right now I would say Ruby is one of my, like after maybe Emerald, my most disappointing color at the moment, and I hope more cards come. However, the items are pretty interesting for the red blue items deck, so don't mind that. Alright, thank you guys for watching this video. If you haven't watched the previous ones on the other colors, and if they are already online, go watch the videos on Sapphire and Steel, which are the last 2. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.